So today we're going to talk about two traits that are widely confused and widely mistaken for one another. Today we will be talking about nice versus good. If you have a nice person or if you are dealing with a good person. So nice is a behavior. Nice is the way that we can learn to be nice. So nice is a learned behavior. On the other hand, good is who we are. Good is a character trait. Good is a virtue. God is good. So trying to figure out if someone is just showing you a learned behavior versus if they actually have the virtue of being a good person, if they have the virtue of goodness, if they are inherently a good person versus this learned behavior of being nice. So with nice, I think of nice is kind of a symptom or a side effect of people pleasing, to get further in life, to get promotions, to get looked at as the type of person that works well with others, so to be a team player, all of those things, then you must be a nice person. Most times people will not, I know with African American women, we are looked at as having, um, being angry a lot, having attitudes and things of that nature. So a lot of African American women have learned the behavior of being nice. We have learned how to be nice to um, get along pretty much, to mingle in the normal society. So to be normal, quote unquote, we have learned to be nice. Um, and and the one thing that I would say that I kind of think that has made us to be known worldwide as, the angry black woman, with the attitudes and, difficult to deal with and things. I think that that comes from the phenomenon of having a lot of single family homes, because compared to our counterparts, our Caucasian counterparts, we have most African American households are single parent. Is the African American woman single parent household? So that puts you in a state where you don't have the option, you don't have the luxury to relax. You don't have the luxury of being nice. You don't have the option to be carefree and lazy. You don't have the option to not worry. You don't have the option to let something go because there's no one else that will pick it up for you. There's no one to play the masculine role while you're sitting back playing the feminine role. You have to play both. You have to play your masculine and your feminine, and you have to learn how to reallocate all of those virtues into normal society. So when you go to work, when you go to your child's school, when you go to the grocery store, when you go wherever that you may be going, you have to learn how to reallocate all of those traits and how to make it work for you in each and every um environment. So we become a chameleon of sorts. If we learn how to do it properly, then we have to pretty much become chameleons versus being who we just want to be, who we are, who God has made us to be. So that's just a sidetrack. But to get back on topic, so the nice person has learned all of these behaviors that they have learned. And to get ahead at work, to get ahead at school, to get ahead at any type of environment, to get along with your teammates or whatever. You learn to be a nice person, to get along with your neighbors, to get along with your children's teachers, to get along in any and every environment that you can think of. You must learn to be a nice person. But again, nice is a learned behavior. Okay, when you think of a good person, because like I said, good is a virtue. Good is something that you are. Good is inherent. So that's something that's built in the inside of you. Good, God is good. So things that are good are made up of God. So being a good person is a virtue of yours. That's something that's um you don't sleep on good. So I mean, you don't turn it on, you don't turn it off. Versus nice, you can turn nice on and off according to where you are. Because once again, we learn this is a learned behavior, so we learn how to chameleonize that, if that's even a word. But we learn how to chameleonize nice. So with good, good is on all the time. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So good is just what it is. When God says I am the I am, so good is just that. It's good all the time, and all the time it is good. So if a person, which that's not saying, let me finish my thought first. So you can have a good person that is nice, but all nice people are not good. And this is something for us to learn to differentiate from, because in this day, in this age, we are dealing with so much spiritual warfare. We are dealing with so much warfare in general. We are dealing with people that are delusional, but they don't know that they're delusional. So that's the hardest type of person to deal with. If you are loud and wrong and you don't even know that you're wrong, if you trying to tell me that 2 + 2 = 5 when I know doggone well what 2 + 2 is. I can prove it to you in everything, but you want to argue with me just for the sake of arguing, just for the sake of to say that you stood up to somebody. So we are dealing in a time such as this that we have people that like to do things just for the sake of doing it, because they have learned different behaviors from society, social media, things of that sort. They have learned all of these different behaviors, and they are waiting for a moment and for a time to play out these behaviors. And so if they see an opportunity, if you just so happen to be involved in their game of charades, if you just so happen to be involved in their, playwright act for the day, then you will have things of that sort. You will have delusional people acting out scenarios and scenes that are not even true, that are not facts, that are not based on anything, but they want to be loud and wrong for the sake of being loud for no reason. And we just have to know when we're dealing with a nice person versus when we're dealing with a good person. And the reason why we have to know this is because a nice person can switch up at any moment. A nice person is not, they don't have virtues. They don't have morals. They don't have values. So just nice people without the virtue of goodness in them, if they're just nice, then they aren't loyal to anything. They know no loyalty because they are changing up. They're not being chameleons for the sake of surviving. They are being chameleons for the sake of surviving, but their survival is when you are a good person and you learn how to chameleonize being nice, you are using it to survive for peace sake. When you are a nice person and you chameleonize being nice, you are doing it, you are trying to survive for the sake of fight or flight. So for you, nice is your nourishment. Nice is like your protein. Nice is something that's needed. So for someone to strip off your nice mask, that would be like somebody taking your life, because that's literally what nice is to just a nice person. Nice is their life. Nice is who they think that they are. They're nothing more, nothing less, because remember, they are not loyal to anything. The only thing that they're loyal to is showing this mask to the public so they can get along, so they can get whatever it is that they want, so they can, move in society. So you may have nice people that they may get promotions, and you know that they're not a good person, but they are nice. So for the average person, and I want to say simple minded, and I may stick with saying simple minded, and I'm not saying simple minded in a condescending way, but I'm saying simple minded in the aspect of someone with no discernment, someone that is easily manipulated, someone that cannot see beyond the mask. So if someone that is simple minded, not in a condescending way, but for the definition of someone with a simple mind. So with someone that is simple minded may not be able to see past just the mask of being nice. So they may think that that is that person's virtue. But what they fail to realize is that this person is not loyal to you. This person is not loyal to their job. They are loyal to whatever it is that will get them along. So if they have to be nice to someone that is a foe of yours, although they're on your team, but if someone is a foe to you and they come along offering something a little sweeter, a little better, then their loyalty will change. Their loyalty will switch up. The loyalty lies with whomever they can give the best return on their investment. So what it boils down to is that a person that is nice with a period on the end, a person that is just nice with no goodness in them, they use niceness as a tactic. So nice is a tactic just to get into your team to get into your behind your walls, because we will have walls up when we are not certain about people, when we don't know people, things of that nature. But once we, feel a sense of a comfortability with people, then we tend to let our walls down. So to get beyond your walls, this person will play nice and will keep the mask of nice up long enough to get into your walls. So they are infiltrating your boundaries with false pretense. And this may get by, this may get by. And you may still think that this person is nice, but time will tell. Time will tell. And if you are a person that does have discernment, if you can see beyond the mask, then you definitely would tell once they get within your boundaries. Once they get beyond your boundaries, once they get beyond your walls, and now you will be able to see the real them, because they can put a mask, well, excuse me, people can wear a mask for however long that they want to. The mask will eventually fall, but people with ill intent, sometimes they can wear a mask for many, many years. They may let a little something slip ever so often, but when you are a good person, then you are a forgiving person. So until they do something that, if it's too often, then you definitely know. But if it's, kind of few and far in between, then you may just kind of charge that to the fact that that they woke up at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. They just didn't get enough sleep. Who knows? They ate, beef instead of chicken. So, so their digestive system is acting up today. Who knows? But you have some nice people that will get far in life. They may get promotions, they may get advances because they play the nice game. And they may kind of, you know, um, play these games in the circle of simple-minded people, because those are the people that's not going to ask questions. They're not going to look beyond. They're not going to try to see past it, because they're not even looking for it. They're not looking for nothing but nice. They don't think past the surface level. So these are the type of people that they try to be in the presence of. So they would get promoted amongst simple-minded people. And for them, this is a large feat. This is a huge accomplishment, because they have once again gotten their way. They have once again, rose to the ranks in the midst of the simple-minded. Now, when you have someone that is good, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So when you have someone that is good, and they are good all the time, and all the time they are good, then they have morals. They have values, because once again, good is a virtue. So once this person is showing, like you can see it day in, day out. Now, the thing is, all good people may not be nice. And you know why? Because when you are good, and when you have that virtuous trait, when you have morals, when you have values, that's what you are loyal to. You are not loyal to that person. You are not loyal to, a job or a thing, or no man. You are loyal to your virtue. You are loyal to your morals and your values. So this means that if anything gets in your way, of your morals, of your virtues, of your values, you have no problem putting a halt to that situation or putting a halt to that action or that behavior because you are loyal to the goodness in you. You are loyal to being good because goodness is a virtue. Goodness is inherent. Goodness is embedded in you. So that's what you are loyal to. When you are loyal to goodness, you are loyal to God. So all good people may not appear as being nice because you have no problem with standing up for things. You have no problem with standing up when you see something wrong. You have no problem with calling out that nice person because you see that that nice person actually has ill intentions. That nice person is harboring some ill will. That nice person actually harbors jealousy. That nice person actually harbors hate. That nice person actually is not able to temper or to balance their emotions. That nice person is actually irrational. That nice person may actually be delusional. So good people may not always be nice because they have no problem with bringing forth and being just. They have no problem with standing up for a cause. And when you're standing up for a cause, when you're putting a halt to something in particular, there's no time for being nice with it. There's no time for being, you know, smiles and games and things of that nature because everything is not a smiles and games situation. Right now, at the moment, we need to handle A, B, C, and D. If we're trying to handle business, sometimes you can't bring nice to the table of business. Sometimes nice needs to stay in nicest place and business needs to be handled now. After we handle business, then we can be nice again. So you have many people that may get it confused. They may construe nice and good. They may think that just because someone is a nice, quote unquote, person, that they are a good person. They may think that just because every time you see this person, they're smiling and laughing, then that this person must be a good person. Well, sometimes that person that's always smiling and laughing may not be able to regulate their emotions. Maybe the good person is able to regulate their emotions so they know that this is actually not a laughing type of situation. So they're able to not just read the room, they're able to read the energy in the room. They're able to read what's behind people's mask in the room. If you just read people's face, sometimes people will show with their face what they're thinking really. They will show that when they know someone else is not looking. Then you can see it on someone's face, or you can see it on someone's face when whatever their reaction is when they very first see you, like the first glance, not when they, are just looking for a period of time or when you're in the room with them for a period of time. But their very first glance, when they recognize that that is you can kind of tell by that expression. Like, and I'm not saying because when you're turning a corner, okay, so you don't know what's around the corner. So you may have someone putting on the mask of good, of nice, and so they have the nice mask on. So most nice people smile. They're known for smiling all the time. So a smile is a symbol of happiness and joy and friendliness. So no matter where you are worldwide, a smile is a world-known symbol for friendliness and, being nice. So when you're turning that corner, most people may, if they're trying to come off as a friendly person, they may have a smile on their face just for the sake of whomever may be around that corner. And then once they see that it's you, if that smile drops, that's your sign. That's the way that they really feel about you. They don't feel like that they need to smile for you because that's a waste of energy with faking the funk. That's a waste of energy with my smile lines or whatever. I can say that jaw strength and for the next person that I don't need to impress. So niceness can be just a self-preservation technique that people use to get by, just to make it. And once again, people may confuse niceness with goodness because all good people may not be nice. That's not saying that they're not going to ever smile. That's not saying that they won't ever, be friendly. They will sometimes. You know, Sometimes you do have some good people that are actually nice. But when you're good, you don't have like I said, that sometimes you have to handle business. So you may not have the luxury of being nice all the time. Because when you're nice all the time, then like I said, then you're not loyal to anything. So you have more leeway with playing that nice role, because when you're not loyal to anything, then you're not looking for injustices. You're not looking for, that doesn't, spark up in your brain or spark in your heart that something wasn't right about it, because you're loyal to nothing except for your mask. When you are a good person, then when people say certain things, then that may kind of, spark a little something in your heart. That may spark a little something in your belly to where you can't just sit there. So now you have to say something. You have to stand up for your belief. And once you're standing up for your belief, that's no time for being nice. It's no time for being nice. And sometimes when you're nice all the time, a lot of people take niceness as being naive. They take when you're friendly, when you're nice, when you're a good person, they think that you're naive. They think that you don't have, any fight in you. They think that you can't bring that dog out of you. But a good person, that's what a good person does. A good person is very well regulated. A good person knows how to balance their emotions, and they know how to balance the nice and the nasty. They know how to be both in any given scenario, because you are loyal to your morals, your values, your virtue. That's what you are loyal to. If anything is upsetting any of those, then that's what you are standing up for. A nice person will only stand up for things if they're told or if everyone else is standing up for something. Those are the two things that nice people will stand up for. They will stand up for something that they are told that they should stand up for, and even if they're told that they should, it may be a half effort in it. If they really don't want to, then it may be a half effort in it. They may do just enough to say that they done it, but it may not really be doing it. They may just give a half effort. They will most certainly stand up for something if everyone else is doing it, because that's they don't know. They don't really know who they are. They don't know what a virtue or what a moral or value. They don't know what that is. The only thing that they know is that, well, no one else was doing it. So they run off of everyone else's emotions. They run off of everyone else's morals and values. They run off of everyone else's everything. They don't know who they are. So that's why their emotions and their nervous system is not regulated, because they have no grounding. They have no home. They have no base to come back to. That's what virtues, morals, and values are. That's your base, that's your home. So you can always, anytime in any given moment, you go back to those virtues, morals, and values. You go back to that. That's your base, that's your home. If it's outside of that, or if it's trying to disrupt what those are, because this is what I stand for. So if this situation, whatever you're in, if this job, this relationship, this household, this neighborhood, whatever it is, if this is disrupting what I stand for, it's time for me to put a stand in for that. I have to stand up for this because I need to regain my peace. I need to regain my balance. So if anything is disrupting those things, which are morals and values to me, then we got to shoo away with it. We got to get that out. And when you're trying to get that out, that's not a time to be nice. Who respects nice? Nobody respects nice. And that's the thing that people don't realize. Even with the nice people that think that nice is being good, some of them think that people respect them. When you stand for nothing, people know that. Even people that's in your camp, they know that you stand for nothing. And guess what? They cannot respect it. If I don't know what you stand for, then I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. If you're going to a bank for a business loan or whatever, you have to write a business statement. In that business statement, your business has to say what it stands for. If this grant or this loan or whatever, if the company that is backed up by, if that company cannot get behind what your business stands for, they will not give you that grant. They will not give you the money, whatever it is. But your visions must align in order for that person to grant you whatever it is that you're, um, trying to gain. Your visions must align. It must be something that they can stand behind because they have morals and values and virtues as a larger company. They also have. So they can easily tell you no because as a moral and value of my company, we cannot stand behind what your company stands for. So I'm so sorry to inform you that your application was rejected. When you are good, you have no problem with no's. You have no problem with telling someone no. If it does not align, it's a no. Easy. Period. It's a no. When you have someone that is just nice, they are they give a yes to any and everything. Yes, 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 yes. So they're a quote unquote yes man or woman. But they give a yes to everything because they have nothing to stand on. They have nothing to stand behind. So in this day and age, it is it is imperative, it is very important that we learn the difference between nice versus good. Because we can very well mistaken a nice person for a good person. Or we can say, okay, well, this nice person is also a good person when they may not be. They may be, but they may not be as well. Any good person, when it's time for them to make a stand, they have no problem making a stand. When it's time for them to give a no with reason, they have no problem with giving a no with reason. And they're able to back it up. Not just with actions, with words, actions, it all. And it makes sense. When a nice person makes a stand, then it may not make sense because they have no rationale behind it. There's no rhyme or reason. They just doing it because they were either told or because, it just makes sense. Or it makes sense to them because everyone else is doing it. Somebody told them to say no, or the entire crowd is doing it. So yeah, so this is why we doing it. And probably what they're going to tell you is probably going to be what somebody else told them. They may not say that, but it very well may be. So when you do not know yourself, that's why it is so important that we all learn to be authentic. We learn who we are. In my very first book, I wrote a quote saying that there is solidity in solitude. You must go into solitude for you to find out who you are. In solitude, you are free of everyone else's voice. You are free of everyone else's opinions. You are free of everyone else's thought. In solitude is you and it's God. That's it. You learn you. You learn God. You learn what virtues and morals and values. You even learn what that is. Maybe you don't know what that is. You learn what all of those things are, and He will tell you what you need to stand for. He will He will place that in you. He will drop those in you. Drop the things in you, and you will just know that this is my cause. Now, this is something that I will not stand for. I can maybe go with that a little while. I can maybe get with that. But this right here, I will not stand for that. A good person is someone of substance. They're someone of value. A good person is. Now, have y'all ever seen like the Africans eating with the fufu and like how they like grasp the fufu in their fingers and they sop up the rest of their food and all the sauce and the gravies and things of that nature or whatever. So a good person It's like the fufu. You need something good and sturdy to eat with that fufu. You can't just eat the fufu with just no little thin, watery down sauce. You gotta have something of some substance, of some flavor to go with it. You gotta have something to sop up. So a good person is of value, is of substance, is of morals, is of values, is of virtue. A good person is of God. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. The same with a good person. A nice person is only loyal to the mask of being nice. They get along, they go along to get along. They are loyal to absolutely nothing except for their mask. Even if it means that they will betray themselves, they will do that unknowingly, but they will do that because they are only loyal to their mask. Their mask has become their master. Isn't that something? So this is just something for us to kind of pay attention to. This is something that we must learn, that we must know, that we must pay attention to. So until next time, be vigilant and be good all the time. And all the time, you must be good.